Welcome back to our introduction to J-horror. Last time, we covered the rise of the genre, from a humble beginning that changes tradition, to talented directors elevating the genre, inserting social commentaries into it. If you haven't watched part 1, you can find the link down
Don't
in the
worry, we
description.
have just now.
And for those of you who are all caught up, let's dive back in.
There was another... Oh my god, is he gonna show Audition? It is also a Japanese movie from 1999. And this one... Look. It is 113 minutes long, okay? It is almost 2 hours long, and for most of that time, not much is happening. But that last, like, half hour or so is brutal. It is absolutely brutal. And I think just based on this... You know, screenshot alone, you can already kind of imagine the kind of things that happen in this movie. This is not for the faint of heart.
The director for Ringu strikes again with another
Oh, it's even the same director with Dark Water as well. So
Dark
based on
Water.
a story from the same author, but also directed by the same person. That's interesting.
It's the story of a single mother in the middle of a custody battle. She moves into an apartment along with her 6-year-old daughter. And strange things happen, as expected.
With this one, by the way, I'm not sure anymore. I have seen both of them, but I think with this one, I like the Japanese one more. This story, the short story was a little underwhelming, though.
The film focuses on the human aspect, and the horror is just a background element. While the raging spirit aspect remains,
Obviously, it's a Japanese horror movie after all. She's not peeing, by the way. Lily, hello.
it's ultimately a simple
Lily.
drama story. There's little to no overt scares, even less than Ringu. Just a lot of slow burn tension. The curse in this film isn't pushed hard like it was in Ringu and Ju-on. It's as if the director is fighting against the audience's unhealthy obsession with ghosts. In my head, I feel like the director is trying to end the genre by going back to the basics.
By the way, I don't know why, but I'm thinking of the movie Sinister right now. Also, recommendation, Sinister. Really good. Also,
If this was the swan song of the genre, it would be a
also
perfect
Grave
ending.
Encounters. I don't hear much about.
But just
I don't
like
hear
Wes Craven,
many people talk about Grave Encounters. It's been a while since I've seen it. Maybe I won't like it anymore. But when I saw it, I did like it very much.
genre, it would be a perfect ending. But just like Wes Craven trying to kill the slash genre with Scream, the corpse of the genre was then carried forward by others.
Hey, there are some good modern slashers, okay? Just because the genre was kinda dead by that point, doesn't mean there was no potential for it anymore, okay? Just like with the Western genre.
For instance, number 1, you can never have sex.
Scream is really good, though.
Big no-no!
Especially also the last, like, 2 entries, Scream. Well, Scream 5 is just called Scream. And the newest one, Scream 6, which I saw in cinema, and right after going out of, like, the thing, while going home, I was already feeling like rewatching it. It was that good.
(2003) saw the release of One
No,
Missed Call.
2003 saw the release of Saw. No, that was 2004. 2003 saw the release of Saw 0.5, as it is now known. A short movie that was just called Saw, but if you Google for Saw 0.5, it's easier to find it. It's like 10 minutes long, as you can see here, and it was more of a... doesn't have its own Wikipedia page. 2003, and was more of a proof of concept to convince studios to give them funding, basically. And this entire short was I think almost the whole thing was included in the final Saw movie. It's like the reverse bear trap thing. One missed call, by the way. Takashi Miike. Bro. Wait. Let me show you something. This is his filmography of feature films, okay? Direct to video, and then feature film, okay? My brother, you're directing 3 movies a year, up to 3 movies a year. Do you have a life? How fast? Like 2022 was the first year he took a break in like 20, 30 years. My brother, you don't have to pump out movies as often as you like. I'm not gonna say that, but like, bro, chill. Like, what the hell? But yeah, One Missed Call is also one I think you've got a call. One Missed Call is also, I think, one that also got a remake with. This looks awful. 0% rating approval on Rotten Tomatoes. There are way too many American remakes of Japanese movies. Wait, One Missed Call 2? One Missed Call Final? Didn't know of these.
This is why I consider the genre died. Oh,
wait, but One Missed Call is from 2003. I wouldn't say the genre died in 2003. Oh, wait, I shouldn't make it louder. I wouldn't say the genre died in 2003. Actually, no, I see the point.
The film follows a group of people who receives voice messages from the future self.
Porcelain.
Message from the moment they die.
Also, such an interesting concept. You just don't really see that in like
Investigations. Spooky hospitals.
spooky hospitals are always good.
Instead of continuing the lineage of J-horror, it rolls all the way back to the Ringu formula. Phones, videos, TV, everything. And it looks like a poor imitation.
It really does. Oh my god.
The curse in the film lacks any form of supernatural.
Yeah, I was just about to say, this is so on the nose. This could be... Okay, I'm gonna stop shitting on Hollywood, but like, you know what I want to say, right? This is so obvious. That's also a thing I liked about like these other J-horror movies, is that they are more subtle.
It frequently resorts to physical violence. Egregiously sending people flying across a studio on national television. Even back when it was first released, it received mixed reviews. To many, it is just too similar.
Actually, now that you show it side by side, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen One Missed Call, honestly, but yeah, now that you show it side by side, that is... Also, you can see it right here, in this one shot, how much more effective the scene in Ringu is. Like, with the static camera, just like showing it from a distance, you're watching the boy from far away, from the dark, and he's just like walking there, like, kind of creepily. Whereas here, it feels like much more up close. It just takes away from this like weird, like almost mysterious effect. Like, there. She's coming so close to the camera, it just, I don't know.
Still, the genre continues.
Obviously, the genre continues. It's not like it's gonna die anytime soon.
2004 saw the release
That doesn't
of The
sound
Lock,
familiar.
a lesser-known Japanese horror film. Mainly because at this point, nobody really watched them outside of Japan.
Fair, I
anymore.
guess.
A group of young people uses a coin locker in Shibuya, contacting a deadly curse from an urban legend. in
Now
the process.
that sounds like a cheap copy of The Ring. Oh my god. Okay, I see.
It is yet another poor imitation of Ringo and Ju-on,
Yep.
following a
Girl in white clothes, you can kind of see it here, walking like creepily on the floor, like crouching, whatever, long hair, not even covering her face this time. Yeah, I see.
factory-style formula. Set up a group of people, kill them off one by one. The curse is just as violent and flashy
The
as
fuck
one
is
from
going on?
Grandma's Call. Neck snapping and all.
This reminds me of Talk to Me. It was all right? Yes, Talk to Me 2022. This movie was made by YouTubers, which would make you think that it's bad. This is the poster, by the way, which would make you think it's bad. But it's honestly one of the most effective and just plain, in my opinion, best horror movies I have seen come from the US in a while. It is really damn good, and some of the scenes he showed here kind of reminded me of this. And it's from 2022. And it's not like a YouTuber movie, you know, it's just one that happens to be directed, I think, by YouTubers. It's not like it's the angry video game nerd movie, for example, or like the Fred movie, or like the Smosh movie. No. It just so happens to be directed by some.
I say it's better than One Missed Call in establishing atmosphere, even if at times it's pretty campy.
Angry Birds come from Finn.
By 2005, I stopped following
That's
horror
fair.
altogether, and so did all my friends.
Oh no, not Ringo 2, not Ringo 2, no.
Lineage. Of J-horror continues with various sequels and American remakes.
Oh, The Ring 2. Also directed by Hideo Nakata. Same dude. Wait. Just like with The Grudge, we looked at it earlier. The director of The Grudge, of the original Ju-on movie, of the original direct-to-video Ju-on film, also directed the theatrical remake for Japanese markets, and then also went on to direct the American remake. But apparently, yeah, the director of the original Ring movie, which, again, was actually the second adaptation, also directed the second Ring remake movie, not the first one, the second one, which was so much worse than the original one, than the first one, I mean. Huh. I think I knew that, but I just didn't, I completely forgot, I completely erased this out of my memory. Oh, how the greats can fall. Wait, did he really fall? What else did he... I'll Change the World was fine. The third Death Note live action thing. Oh, he also directed Sadako. I see. Wait, didn't Sadako also get like... Wait. Let me check the Ring franchise again. Right, Sadako DX was also a thing. I completely like, it didn't mention it here, right? Yeah, it didn't mention it here at all, and I completely forgot about that. But Sadako DX is also a thing. It came out just in 2022 and tried to be more comedic. Comedy horror film. And again, a sequel to Spiral, which, just to quickly get back to this, Spiral is the second movie that came out on the same day. It's a sequel that already got two sequels with Sadako 3D and Sadako 3D 2. Ring had an alternative sequel with Ring 2. Now Spiral also got an alternative sequel with Sadako DX. Whereas, okay, so Sadako 3D and Sadako 3D 2 were sequels to The Ring 2, to Spiral. Sadako is a sequel to Ring 2, not Spiral, just Ring 2. And Sadako DX is yet another alternative sequel to Spiral. Does that make sense yet? Anyway, Sadako DX is also absolute garbage bin trash, absolute bottom tier, an actual fucking F. Yes, I've watched it. Because I still have hope. First up, I still have hope that the franchise might return to something that's at least watchable. And secondly, because I'm a completionist. Please send help.
And some urban legend-based horror films,
Ooh, Carved was a thing!
which is more a throwback way before
Which,
Ringu was a thing.
by the way, reminds me that... Oh my god. Now I'm going to, like, the really, like, deep pits of this whole thing. But Sadako had more crossovers than just Kayako. We also had... Here, Bunshin Saba versus Sadako 2, for example. Bunshin Saba versus Sadako exists. It's 1, 2, and 3 of these has become very popular over the years. Apparently, I don't know. I've not seen it, but it exists. And it's a crossover. It's yet another crossover that nobody knows about, but it exists. 2004 South Korean movie. I've never even heard of this before, but it exists. It apparently has multiple entries. Like 4 movies in that franchise, which also got a crossover with The Ring. There is also, I think there is like one more. Yeah, there. Hikiko-san versus Sadako also exists. Where like I think this was the girl from Carved that he showed just now. Was it this one? I'm not even sure anymore. But this also exists. It's like based on an urban legend, which also got a crossover with the Ring franchise. There is even more to this that I didn't mention because I honestly just forgot about it. But these also exist. I have yet to watch them.
There's also exploitation horror. a weird
Undead Pool I've
offshoot
never
genre,
heard of.
with films like Undead Pool and
There is also, by the way, there is also Vampire Girl versus Frankenstein Girl. Yeah, there it is. This is a thing. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Okay, I should not be showing that on stream. There are some very goofy concepts that are very, very brutal movies. There is also Tokyo Gore Police, for example, a very famous example, and more. One of my favorites, Mutant Girl Squad, exists. True. There is also I could name more. I could name way more, but I don't think I should be naming them on Twitch or showing them on Twitch, except one. Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead, 2011. This is the one movie I always name when I think about like Japanese trash horror movies. This is beautiful. It's about zombies that are born from literal shit that throw with shit, and that's how they infect you. This is beautiful. This is absolute beauty, but obviously this is not like a serious horror movie, you know? Obviously this is trash. It's meant to be funny, and it is fucking funny, in my opinion. But I don't think I should be naming anymore, because like you've already seen like the Frankenstein versus Vampire Girl, Zombie Ass. You know, these titles get wild and the movies get wild, so I will stop. But damn, there is some wild shit, like Big Tit Zombie as well. And I've seen way too many of these too. More than I would like to admit.
can't bring myself to watch those.
Some of the Hammer horror movies are better than these. Fun fact, I actually wanted to watch the Hammer, like, Universal Monster remakes. But I never did, because I first wanted to finish the Universal classic horror movies. Like, I wanted to watch all of them first. But by now, it's been like, what, like 4 or 5 years since I watched them, and I'm still missing the Spanish language Dracula one. And just because of that one movie that I still haven't watched because I'm too lazy to read subtitles, I haven't watched a single Hammer, like Dracula or Frankenstein movie or any of those. Oh no, please, no, no, no.
The J-horror genre did try to make a genuine comeback.
It didn't
in
try.
2012
No.
with the release of Sadako 3D. And oh god,
It
Sadako 3D is intended to be the sequel of that.
So we got the timeline. Ring 0, then Ring, which splits off into Rasen and Ring 2. The sequel to Rasen is Sadako 3D, which was followed up by Sadako 3D 2, which then Rasen got another alternative sequel with Sadako DX. Ring 2 got the sequel in Sadako. I think if you draw it out like this, it makes more sense, but it's still such a clusterfuck. Like, what is even going on? Keep in mind that Ring 0 came out after these two.
Which is one of the two sequel timelines of the original Ringu. In the film, the curse from Ringu
Oh my god,
has been
look at her.
resurrected. Original Ringu.
The horror, in part from the original, came from the fact that her hair was completely uncontrolled and just covering her face and just like completely like bushy and just uncontrolled. Here, it looks very purposeful, and she even has like bangs to like show her face. And it's so fucking long that just looks unreal. It doesn't look uncontrolled, it looks like very, very purposeful, which takes out all the horror.
In the film, the curse from Ringu has been resurrected.
Yay, 3D.
With modern prevalence of screen, the curse is more than unstoppable. If you are imagining Dark Mirror with a supernatural twist, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Calling the film horror.
The fuck was that? When he said imagining Dark Mirror, that also reminds me that Mirrors. Remember the movie Mirrors, the 2008 movie? It's also based on a Korean movie, by the way. So Mirrors is also one of those remakes, based on like some East Asian stuff. I didn't even. What the fuck is even going on here? It's
I'm
literally
sorry to
just.
disappoint you.
You saw in the first video how like effective some of the scenes were, how like Sadako was like this like presence who just came out of the TV and fucking murdered you. The fuck is this?
Calling the film horror feels insulting. There is this weird, cheaply produced fan fiction sensibility.
What is this?
Overacting, overemphasizing on the 3D effect.
What the fuck was that?
Over-the-top
I love how the
theatrics
subtitle
and-
set's still going for a while now, but what the fuck was that last thing? Like that glass hitting her head. Look at this. What is this? It looks so it looks
Over-the-top
even worse when you look at it like up. That's the worst thing about bad CGI. There, like, you might be able to look past it if you just watch the movie once. But if you watch some scenes multiple times, especially in more detail like we are right now, look at that one piece of glass hitting her head.
Over-the-top theatrics and presentations.
What is this, liar game?
Using suicide as a cheap plot device.
What the
It
fuck
lacks
is
any of the
this?
subtlety that
It's just literally just this clean... Bro. This girl died in a well. I'm not sure if she drowned, but she died in there with no way to escape. And that's why she appears out of that ring. the theme, the ring, the well, she crawls out of it, she crawls out of the TV. That's also why, for example, in the American version, there is some water coming out of the TV alongside her, because it's like, you know, crawling out of the well, completely like, completely fucked up hair, fucked up everything. Not even, you can't even see the face anymore because the hair has grown so long. Here, it's just like this clean little princess that was cared for by her parents their whole life, and everything is very clean, everything is very purposeful, with these bangs, with like everything. This is an insult. Most of the Japanese Ring movies, and the American ones for that matter, but the Japanese series has way more movies than the American one, all of these are fucking insults to the franchise, or to the original movie. This is unacceptable.
Defines the genre. It feels like it was written by a high schooler. The title alone, Sadako 3D, goes against what Ringu director wanted. More than ever, the genre wants people to obsess over the curse.
お前だ。
And it receives a sequel 1 year later.
No, it's even worse. This
which
one is
I'll
even
not
worse.
Go into.
Oh, thank you.
Following the footsteps of Sadako 3D, Ju-on got its own reboot in 2014. Ju-on, the beginning of the end.
Oh, what a fitting title.
In traditional Ju-on fashion, the story is non-linear, following an ensemble of characters. Although this time, the plot structure is much easier to understand. It's definitely more watchable than Sadako 3D, but that's largely due to how many elements this film recycles from the originals. For a reboot, it doesn't bring enough new materials. And as a remake, the original holds up so well that this retelling is largely unnecessary.
True. That's also true. Like,
suppose
if you're gonna make a remake, well, I guess in this case it's meant to be a reboot rather than a remake. But if you borrow so many elements from the original, people will confuse it for a remake. The Thing 2011, whereas that was a prequel, but you know what I mean. Yeah. If you're gonna make a remake, bro, if you do it like The Thing 2011, the studio wanted to make a remake. The director was like, bro, John Carpenter's The Thing is a perfect movie. There is no way I could possibly improve on it. Can I please make a prequel instead? And they allowed it. It still borrows so many elements from the original that it feels like a remake to many people, and many people still think of it as a remake, even though it is just a prequel. And I think the same applies here. If you're gonna... I forgot what I was trying to say. If you're trying to make a reboot, make it distinct enough so that it doesn't feel like a remake, and if you try to make a remake, you better damn improve on the original.
The state of the genre quite well. It feels dated. It feels like I'm watching a different version of the same film, again and again.
And it feels dated already, even though it came out 14 years later.
No one is pushing the genre forward. And then the unthinkable happened. In 2015, Sadako vs. Kayako was announced as an April Fool's joke.
Sadako vs. Kayako, again, I talked about it in a little bit more detail earlier. But I'm quickly gonna go over it again, quickly gonna mention again how I watched it multiple times and I love this movie. It is actually one of my favorites in the entire Ring and or Ju-on franchises. But not as a serious horror movie. It is very goofy, it is funny, in my opinion, and if you watch it as like this trash comedy, it is fun. If you watch it as a serious horror movie, it is absolute ass. So let's see what he has to say about it.
With Sadako being the cursed ghost from Ringu and Kayako from Ju-on.
Oh yeah, right, Kayako is the woman. In Ju-on, he didn't really explain it, right? In Ju-on, the curse is with two people, a mother and her son, and Kayako is the mother.
It's a funny joke. I remember it got a few chuckles from the internet. That same winter though, it was confirmed to be a real production. a production no one asked for.
I did.
Oh, here.
I did. Give me more goofy, like, crossovers, like Freddy vs. Jason, Sadako vs. Kayako. We also got Godzilla vs. Kong recently, which we also had in the 60s already. 1962, I think. I think it was called King Kong vs. Godzilla in that one. In that case, yeah, 1962, King Kong vs. Godzilla. We already had that, but you know, still more recently, we also got Godzilla vs. Kong, which I can actually take seriously, in contrary to Freddy vs. Jason and Sadako vs. Kayako. This one I can actually take somewhat seriously, and it's just pure fun, in my opinion. Just like pure fun, not just fun because it's bad, but just fun. But still, give me more of these.
We go.
Give me like fucking Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. Ash being from Evil Dead, and Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash being an actual thing that was in development at one point. And the script, because the movie never happened, the script was turned into an 8-issue comic. Read it. It's good. It even got a sequel. It's good. Give me more of these goofy crossovers. Give me fucking like Michael Myers vs. Chucky or something. I don't know.
Sadako vs. Kayako. It follows two separate groups of people who contacted two curses. One from Sadako, one from Kayako. The curses are so strong, no one can lift it. So this anime bullshit psychic dude decides to let the two curses fight and destroy each other.
Yes! Okay. Looking at the subtitles here, this dude seems to hate this movie. That's a shame. I really love it in like this ironic, stupid way where it's like just a trash movie that I just love.
The premise alone seems lazy.
It is, but it's... okay.
The first thing that pops into the writer's mind.
It is, but look, imagine literally trying to make these two fucking demon ghost entities fight and battle it out. Come on, man.
That you have to wait almost 70 minutes to see the two ghosts fight.
That is true, but in the beginning you still get to you get introduced to the two curses, and like, you know, it's kind of like separate, and then they come together, and like it makes sense in the movie why it takes so long. Like, would you want the two to fight like after 10 minutes already?
The one-dimensional characters with unrealistic motivations makes the wait feel much longer than it should.
No.
At one point, one of the characters tried to hang herself off a doorknob. Someone please tell me how this works?
You see what I mean?
I suppose this is spoiler, but when the final climax involves characters staring and screaming while the audience are looking at a black screen, scratching their heads wondering what is going on, you know this movie is wasting your time.
No. Not at all. The movie is trying to build horror, but it does it in such a bad way that it's just funny. The best trash movies are the unintentional ones, the ones where the director really tried to make something good, but it's just absolute garbage. And this is just that. It's fun because it's bad.
In recent years, the only Japanese films that caught my attention are anime adaptations.
Not seen
Maybe
this one.
Day I'll talk about those.
Also, obviously, Takashi Miike, obviously.
It's sad
I have seen a few live-action anime adaptations, or manga adaptations, and some of them were seriously good, like the Death Note ones from 2006 and 2007, I think. Like the Uzumaki is still my favorite one, I think, based on the Junji Ito manga. Or Bakuman was also really good.
see the Japanese horror genre in its current state.
That's true, I agree.
I can't really tell you why.
Anything
this
but
happened,
that!
Although my guess would be the new Japanese directors and audience are trained to have an anime sensibility. The over-the-top anime aesthetic simply doesn't fly with J-horror that demands subtlety. But that's just my guess.
He's saying here, the over-the-top anime aesthetic simply doesn't fly with J-horror, which...
That demands subtlety.
That demands subtlety. I see what you mean. Based on the old J-horror movies that you showed, the older ones, that is very much true. J-horror seemed for the longest time to be based around atmosphere or on subtlety, and that is also what I love about J-horror so much. But this, technically, is also J-horror. J-horror can be in your face. Have you seen Battle Royale? It can be in your face. It can be more like upfront and more obvious. It's just that these movies did it in the worst possible way. But that doesn't mean that you have to gatekeep my J-horror like that, no. But that doesn't mean that J-horror inherently has to be subtle. It's just that that's what it's good at.
But that's just my guess. It's also ironic that a genre sprung from the success of Ringu ultimately finds itself unable to break away from its formula.
Sadako DX 2022.
From the beat-by-beat imitations of One Missed Call, to cashing out the name of Ringu with badly made sequels.
Oh, please don't, go away, don't show me this.
Still, J-horror has since influenced the other Asian countries.
Train to Busan is so fucking good. It is legit. I think it came out in 2016, so it still counts. It is legit one of the best zombie movies of the past 10 years. Easy. Another really, really good one, which hardly even has zombies, but it technically is classified as a zombie movie, is... oh, fuck, I forgot the title. It was like a short title. I think it was a Chinese one, if I'm not mistaken. No. The Sadness! The Sadness! Oh my god! 2021, not Taiwanese. Sorry. Oh my god, sorry! Shit, Taiwanese. The Sadness is also so fucking good. But these aren't your classic zombies. They still have somewhat of a consciousness and stuff, and they're just very, very brutal and cannibalistic. They have the zombie aspects that we know and love, but they are still, but they're also different. But this one is also so good, but also so it's really, really, really brutal. So keep that in mind. If you can't see a lot of blood, don't watch this one. But it's so good.
With Korean horror pushing it to new height with their own cinematic culture. But that's a story for another time.
Train to Busan is more of a classic zombie movie. But yeah, that was a brief overview on J-horror part 2 of 2. Yeah, I hope you liked it. I did. And I'm glad that I could add a lot, because again, as I keep saying, I feel bad for just like stealing content, you know. If I watch this if the video is 13 minutes long and then my reaction to it is 15 minutes, you know, what am I really adding? I'm just leeching off. I'm just stealing, you know. I don't want to do that. So I'm glad that it's also about a topic where I really have something to say and have something to add.